How's it going, everyone? My name is Jimmy Champane. I hope you're having a great week. Today we're going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that Blumhouse has been working on for a couple years now, and its possible connections to the Banana Splits movie that was announced last week. To really understand this though, we need to go all the way back to 2015 when the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was officially announced. It was reportedly being directed and co-written by a guy named Gil Kenan, who you might know from the awesomely underrated movie Monster House. He was co-writing it with a guy named Tyler Burton Smith, who you might know if you've been keeping up with my Child's Play videos for the past few months. Another interesting link between this movie and Child's Play is that Seth Grahame-Smith and David Katzenberg were signed on to produce it, which means basically that it was going to have a quick turnaround and it was going to be super cheap. Things actually went pretty dark on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie until March of 2017 when Scott Cawthon announced that Blumhouse was actually working on it now and that Warner Brothers had pretty much given up the rights and decided to take a loss on the movie. And I think Blumhouse is the best place this movie could have ended up, because if they didn't get it, Screen Gems would have gotten it, and that means it would have ended up probably a lot like Slender Man, which is my least favorite movie of last year. So now that Jason Blum and Scott Cawthon had the rights for the movie all settled, they decided to start over on it from scratch. The key difference here was that this time around, instead of hiring someone to write the movie, Scott Cawthon, the creator of this entire thing, would just do it himself. Around that time, Jason Blum sat down for a few interviews and he said the reason he had Cawthon writing the script is because it probably wouldn't turn out that well if he wasn't doing it, because he had such a clear idea of what he wanted this movie to be in his head. He also made a great point that rarely, if ever, do the people who come up with these games in the first place ever get any creative input on what actually makes it to screen. So this time around they wanted to try something different, and I personally think it's gonna pay off. And it really did seem like things were going well until November of last year when Cawthon made a huge update on the Steam forums for Five Nights at Freddy's where he said there were a few setbacks. Basically what it all boils down to is that he really wanted to get it right, and he actually finished a script and turned it in to Jason Blum and the director Chris Columbus. They both really liked it, but then he decided he wasn't happy with it and that he had a whole new idea that he wanted to try, so he just scrapped the entire thing and started over. He also said that writing the script was really challenging, and his philosophy from the start was that if the movie is going to get made at all, it's going to get made right or it's never going to come out. And finally, he let everyone know, as far as the story goes, that this movie would take place after Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and it would only consider the first 3 games canon. Everything that came after that wouldn't really count towards this movie's story, so he could keep it simple. Since then, we've gotten a few updates from Jason Blum letting us know that the movie is coming along great and we'll hear more updates soon. But that brings us to today. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know this, but just last week SyFy announced a new movie based on the characters the Banana Splits that's going to be an R-rated horror movie coming out later this year. It's following the same release structure as Leprechaun Returns in the sense that it's premiering on SyFy channel at the end of this year, and you'll be able to rent it on VOD services early 2020. Anyway, if you don't know who the Banana Splits are, they were created by Hanna-Barbera in the 1960s, and they're a bunch of costume characters that make up a band, and they had a show called the Banana Splits Variety Hour. In the universe of this new movie, however, it looks like the Banana Splits are popular in 2019, and this little kid really wants to see their live show, so his parents buy him tickets to it for his birthday. Unfortunately for this family and everyone else who goes to this taping, the Banana Splits find out their show is canceled, so they lock everyone inside the soundstage and go nuts killing them all. I watched the trailer last week when it came out, and all I've been thinking about since is how much this looks like a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff. So of course I decided to research this a little bit, and at the very bottom of the Banana Splits Wikipedia page, there's one weird line that's uncredited that says, as of June 14th, 2019, current rumors say that the original script for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was used to create this film. The annoying thing here is that I've been looking all weekend for a source of this rumor and I couldn't find one, but while I was looking for that info, I did find some pretty hard facts that are hard to ignore. The first and biggest one is that this movie is being created by a subsidiary of Warner Brothers called Blue Ribbon. It's a content label that basically digs into Warner Brothers properties and digs them up and makes crappy low-budget movies like Daphne and Velma from last year. And then of course you have to consider that the plot of the Banana Splits movie is pretty much identical to the plot of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, or at least the first one. If you don't know the plot of the Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's very simple and again very similar to the Banana Splits movie. You're hired as a nighttime manager at a Chuck E. Cheese type restaurant, and you're paid to just sit down in a room and watch some security cameras, because at night the animatronics from the live band get up and walk around. The problem is, if you don't pay attention to them, they'll come for you and actually kill you. It's kind of scary. It's basically rooted in jump scares. I had fun with the first game, but I didn't really play any of them past that. And just because I want to drive this point home, in the Banana Splits movie, instead of being guys in costumes, it's actually robots in costumes this time around. And they wake up at night in the facility where they work and terrorize people and end up murdering them. It is almost exactly like the plot of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's absolutely insane. And finally, knowing that the idea from the start with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was to turn it around quick and cheap, I'm starting to think that this Banana Splits movie really is the original script for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's kind of crazy. And as for what I think of this Banana Splits movie, it doesn't look amazing, obviously. It looks like something that would air on the SyFy channel, but it looks like it's going to be fun to watch. And honestly, I want to watch it with my friends over a few beers and then talk about it on my podcast at the end of the week. It looks like the perfect movie for that. But now that this conspiracy theory has rooted itself in my brain, I want to check it out even more and compare it to whatever Blumhouse gives us for Five Nights at Freddy's in the near future. What I would really like to do is talk to someone involved with this Banana Splits movie and just ask them straight up if it is made from the same script as Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't really think there would be any legal problems there because Blumhouse didn't want to go with the script at all, but I doubt they would ever tell me even if I did get to ask them. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video because I sure had a great time digging into old tweets and articles trying to get the big picture here. If you did like it, make sure you let me know down in the comments below what you think of this Banana Splits movie, what you think of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and what you think about there being a possible connection between them. Also, when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you get an email and a message on your phone every time I upload a video. And this is where I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor. So if you decide to click the notification bell, which I hope you do, every time you get one of those notifications, click it right away and make sure you watch through the entire video. That'll make sure YouTube feeds it out to more people and that'll help my channel grow. I hate that that's the way the algorithm works, but that's just the sad reality of what it is and what it is like to be a YouTuber at this point in 2019. Anyway guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Jimmy Champane and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.